did the 18-wheeler with Push. When I did the record with Black Thought, I knew they was getting on there.
Yeah.
When I did the Johnny P's Caddy, I wanted to put another verse on there. You know what I'm saying? But I never made it back to the studio. So they was like, yo, we should put somebody on here. But when I go in the studio, I'm just, you know what I'm saying?
That verse was flawless though.
That shit was crazy. I got a lot off my chest that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yo, absolutely. Something about that track, when you drop that track, a lot of people immediately go, oh, well, Cole killed him on the verse.
Nah, ain't nobody gonna say that.
I listened. I was like, yo, you know what it is? That's just because you just heard Cole on the verse.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nah,
like, if you really sit down and listen to what Benny is saying,
the Renegade
you can't say that.
The Renegade Effect.
And it's this. It's something that I've been through on a lower level before on both sides, because it's like this. When I remember being on a song with me, Conway, and Lloyd Banks. I remember getting to the studio and niggas like Banks in there. They like, yo, get in here. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I got in there, and then we killed that shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember one of my lines went viral from the song. Right. Before you could be ace in a Beamer, you gotta be ace in the cleaners. You know what I'm saying? That mean. People posting that shit, they don't even know that was my line.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So, motherfucking, it was people in the comments like, man, why Lloyd even let them get on the song? So when you get on a song with a bigger artist, people gonna say that. Now, when I do features with niggas, they say that about the niggas be dope. Like, I only came here for Benny. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of the shit. But that's why you gotta be comfortable in your flow and know that you brought the heat.
What the fuck is good, y'all? It's Coffee back with another one, man. We got a lot of content to get to, a lot of topics on this one, so make sure y'all fuck with me, man. Hit them buttons. But y'all heard that clip there from the Butcher. The Butcher coming. I always get pumped when I hear that still, man. Benny the Truth, man. Yo, and before we dive into this, that whole Gibbs situation kind of died down, or maybe I'm tripping. Did Gibbs did they end up dropping the disses at each other? I don't know, man. Like, to me, Gibbs just can't even hold a candle to Benny's flame. I don't know. I'm just saying that's how I feel. And real talk, I fuck with a lot of Gibbs music. I think Gibbs is dope. I think he's talented, but I think he just be too much extra with the extracurricular activities trying to go at everybody and ish. You know what I mean? That whole academics and then Jim Jones L's that Gibbs was served up just put a very serious damper and tarnish on his run in hip-hop to me. Like, that L ain't just seem, those L's, I'm sorry, apologies, y'all ain't seeming to wash off at all. Comment and let me know if y'all agree. But getting to what Benny was talking about here, what is this, the Danza Project? I was about to say comedy. What the fuck am I talking about? What am I thinking about? Some comedy movie I was just about to watch. This podcast that he was just on. Oh, the comedy we're about to get to Taxstone and WACK100. That's what it was. But this podcast that he just did, he's talking about the Renegade Effect. That's a very interesting discussion in hip-hop. Comment, y'all. All the hip-hop heads out there. You know what I mean? Your thoughts on what he's speaking on with the Renegade Effect. Ever since, Nas the way Nas put it, "M murdered you on your own-ish." Like, it's a real thing, though. Like, rappers, a lot of times when collaborating, depending whose project it's on or what type of track they're going with, if they're trying to go for a certain vibe or whatever, you know what I mean? It affects the way the MC tries to get with their pen game and whatnot. And the fans, like you heard them talking about how J. Cole got a cult following and whatnot, and the way fans of each artist will show up in the comments or just in discussions. Isn't that crazy now? Like, so much goes down in comment threads. You know what I mean? Like, way back, it used to be being outside, moving around, kicking it with people or whatever. You be, yo, on this track, did y'all hear this one? What about this? Oh, you're crazy. Such and such had the dope reverse, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? But, comment and definitely let me know who you think had the harder verse on Johnny P's Caddy. But it's interesting, though, to hear the Butcher talk about, like, when he worked with Black Thought when he worked with Push, he knew that's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knew he was collaborating with those artists. But when it came to Johnny P's Caddy, that was not the case. He was actually going to throw another verse on there. And then, down the line, the opportunity to put a J. Cole verse on that track came around, and they said, yo, let's go with that. So it's, it's different. It's a different vision for the feature, for that collaboration, being that he didn't know that's what it was going to be, just some interesting info to think about, you know what I mean? Definitely two heavyweights in hip-hop, though. That's like a huge collab, in my opinion, man. I mean, for those who watch the channel, y'all know I fuck with Griselda heavy, and particularly Benny. More and more, it just seems to me, as he evolves in his career and stuff like that, like, we see all the dudes from Griselda growing apart, but not in a bad way, like not in a beef way, just growing as artists as time continues on, and everyone continues with their journey. They all go in their different ways or whatever. Like Benny, just to me, his bars, his flow has just gotten better and better, as I always share with y'all. Like, originally with Griselda, Conway was my favorite, but like, hands down, Benny's the truth to me now out of all of them. But they're still all dope, no question. And that was interesting to hear him say there as well. Comment if, for those, like, keep it a buck, if you knew that or you didn't know it. Like, who already knew about the whole Ace in the Beamer, Ace in the Cleaners line? As we know, that's become very big in meme culture. I can't tell y'all how many times I've seen that thing reposted. Shit, y'all see on here, Fabulous posted it himself. Like that was a classic flow. You know what I mean? Like, game changer. Classic-ish. Yo, Benny had another dope joint. I remember one time he was on live, and I can't remember how it went. Something about, I got something in the A with a brick from back in the day or something. I can't recall. Like, it's slipping my mind right now, but it was like from some like, this was a couple years ago when Benny was on live. And I don't know if Benny still goes live like that. Y'all comment for those who are, active on the IG tip all the time. But when Benny did used to go live and I used to catch him, he was so interactive with the fans, asking and answering questions and whatnot. I thought it was very dope, very respectable in, the way he rocked with his fans. But anyways, when they were on there, someone was writing that in the comments, and Benny was like, damn, man, how long you been a fan? How you know that rhyme? That's from way back. I was going to recycle that flow. Remember GRIZZY said it, recycle the flow. But yeah, I think that's pretty lit that, Butcher bars are going to live on in the meme culture and, being reposted on social media and whatnot for years and years to come. And one more thing regarding Benny, what Benny was talking about there before we move on to our next topic. He was talking about actually that track when them bars, when he worked with Banks. It was so lit to see Banks and Griselda Records collab. And I keep saying this, man. You can go back, watch my videos. I had quite a few videos leading up to Lloyd Banks' newest project. And, I was very amped for that, very pumped for that. Like I always say, man, it's almost criminal to me that Lloyd Banks didn't, don't get me wrong, he got his shine on and everything, but the punchline king, man, it just, Banks should be a household name at this point, in my opinion. Banks should be dropping 1 to 2 projects a year. Like, obviously we know that's on Banks. He's enjoying the way he lives in the cut. Obviously his financial situation must be good. So, he gets active when he wants to in this rap thing. It's wild, though. He done kind of flirted with the whole retirement thing and came back multiple times via his Twitter. But anyways, man, what would have been extra lit back then when this was going on. I don't know why. It just seemed like around the time he worked with Griselda and he was having his new jump off on the way, or it had just dropped or whatever, it was like seeming like Banks had really regained the passion to get in the studio. And I just kept thinking to myself, man, picture if Banks would have signed with Griselda. I just think he would fit in with them so well. And I don't know. I just couldn't think of a better outcome for like Lloyd Banks fans. Like, comment, y'all, if y'all rock with Banks, if y'all fuck with Banks, if Banks would have really jumped back into this thing with 2 feet and just got crazy active, you know what I mean? After he dropped that project, dropped 2 more mixtapes and, be out here dropping new music all the time and whatnot. If he was with Griselda, comment and let me know if y'all think that would have been amazing, would have been a beautiful thing, and would have been a good fit for, the type of artist he is. Let me know in the comments. All right, y'all, you guys hear that clip? The old clip from an old tax season episode. Again, free Taxstone, man. I was such a big fan of the Tax Season podcast. It was lit, man. Damn shame he didn't get to see his full potential in that game, and he's in the situation he is right now is wild. I mean, it is what it is. I always share with y'all, I'm a square. I ain't about that life, you feel me? But I guess when you live that lifestyle, that's just a part of what comes with it. Tax ain't bitching about it. But we did see him speak recently, still like basically saying he's going at it with a rat or whatever. And, the rat was manipulating the way the game and all that. I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. Like I always tell y'all, Coffee ain't a gangster. I'm telling, right? But continuing on, you hear that old clip. He done got into it with WACK100. Like, think about it, y'all. That's how long Wack's been at this fuckery. Taxstone been locked up for a grip. And you heard him. He came under his pictures talking that bull is, trying to bark on everyone like a pit bull. You feel me? But here he is using that old clip and putting out a statement to speak to us from behind bars about this BS that WACK100's on. And he says, nobody is going to listen to that goofy-ass podcast WACK100 got. Dudes will listen to 20 seconds of you talking ish, but nobody is going to listen to 2 hours of you talking that dumb ish. It's like the whack rappers that got a good song, but nobody is going to listen to the album. Ooh, that's a cold one right there, right? What do you guys think about that? Do you think Taxstone is correct? I mean, we know Wack, like, go peep my previous video, y'all. Big U came out and is saying WACK100 on some COINTELPRO secret agent type ish. You know what I'm saying? Trying to destroy the culture, and that's, again, a whole nother discussion. Go peep the previous video. Matter of fact, I'll pin the link below. But I don't know, man. Like, does WACK100's podcast, like, do you think what Tax is saying, that, like, yeah, people might find it entertaining to hear you talk some ish or whatever, but hours of that, it ain't gonna last. I mean, I know WACK100's show, I believe the numbers are getting up there, but what do you think? Could he be correct? Like, is this going to have an expiration date on it? Are people going to get sick of this ish? I mean, listen, we know controversy sells, and we know, like, people tell me, Coffee, talk ish about people. Like, yo, I just am breaking down the different news topics that come up. You know what I'm saying? I'm never just going to ride out on some straight up negativity ish. Just try to get my numbers up. My numbers is what they is. For those who tap in and, want to kick it, like, you know what I'm saying, want to kick it about the different topics and whatnot, fuck with me. That's how we do it over here, Sometimes, there's some controversial topics and headlines and stuff we got to talk about in wild situations like this particular one we're speaking on right now. But to just try to rock like that, to just, I don't know, it's not my style. But, hey, it pays, I guess. It sells. But, comment, guys, do you think Tax is right? Will people ultimately get sick of this? A lot of times with podcasts, this is my personal take. Maybe I'm tripping. You'll see a podcast. You'll go listen to a 2-3 hour podcast, and then you'll log on to social media and whatnot and see the little clips, the 30-second, 1-minute clips that are going viral. And, but when it comes to, like, the podcast, You know, the long format, that's for more people that really want to hear these long discussions and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Maybe Tax is onto something. But either way, he's telling us from behind bars, you know, he had to tap in on this one and say, like, Wack, you're still at this Buster-ish all these years later. In other news, a little bit of a flashback situation type deal here. You guys see GRIZZY Hendrix saying, what do you say? Remember when these bum rappers wanted to battle me? Look at these washed up rappers, and the bums always want to battle me, etc. You see a little screenshot here from a old discussion that he had on The Evolve's channel with azizz. You guys remember that whole situation, the January 20th movement. You know, as I always say, like, if you guys love or hate or whatever, feeling different about azizz, as I always point out, he's one of the most hated individuals in the blogosphere on the internet. You know, he had a little buzz and momentum around him. Ultimately, the tracks that he dropped didn't really capture, you know, they didn't really live up to the hype in a sense. But it is what it is. You know, he spoke what he wanted to speak on. He did his thing. It turned into a whole different situation, though, as we saw GRIZZY Hendrix and a lot of other different individuals getting wrapped up in it and battling each other. And, you know, then other members of the Outsidaz we started hearing from again, which was lit. Pace One, Young Z. It was dope, man. It was dope. Like, when the whole situation first jumped off, to me personally, I found it crazy that a lot of people didn't know the outs. Like, you guys heard me say it on numerous videos. If you tap in with the channel, to me, the Outsidaz are legends of hip hop. I don't know. Some people don't really know them. It is what it is. But I wonder if GRIZZY's just aiming this, calling them washed up and bums, if he's just aiming this at azizz, or this was at more of the Outsidaz. I can't recall. But I don't know. A little flashback there. Hit the comments. And then last up on the news, man, we see MILK74, another individual that people love to hate in the blogosphere. You know, so often, so long, the question, like, so many people are like, yo, is Milk really from where he says he's from? Is Milk official, etc.? And then we, you know, saw Treyway 6K speak up for Milk. We saw King Trell over there, I know Jumper, speak up for Milk as well, you know, co-signing them. And now we're seeing some old pictures from back in the day, you know, with Milk, from individuals from his hood, and then he's with someone at a wedding right now. And listen, you know, like, we know when it comes to content creators, you know, a lot of people always want to accuse people of being cap artists, and, you know, people can say what they want about Milk, but Milk has never been a poser or fronting about who he is and where he comes from. Like, this is really Milk's life. You know what I'm saying? We see a lot of cats with identity crisis, you know, like the little Pyru dude, or a bunch of other cats that they come up with these fake personas and try to tell you, like, shit. We even kind of see it with the game. Like, the game's really from Compton or whatever, but the story we just saw with the dude that what was that dude's name? T-Money, that did No Jumper. We saw again, like, he be capping and fronting about this life, you know, this whole gritty, grimy story isn't all true. Like, he definitely did not have a privileged life or anything like that. That's not what we're saying, but the way he tells it ain't quite true. And getting back to what we're saying again about Milk, like, Milk never been lying about who he is or where he comes from, whether you like him or dislike him. But that wraps up the news on this one. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Let's talk in them comments. A lot of topics on this one. I ain't gonna hold y'all any longer. Just do me that solid, hit them buttons. Let's talk. Stay tuned. More content coming. Music, news, sports, and more. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. Have a great day.